Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to EmoNews. This is the news package for August 1st, 2025. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Dominican Bar Association discussed the Riot Act. China awards scholarships to Dominican students. Dominican Caribbean melting pot ignites Antigua Carnival. Dominica defeats St. Lucia in Thriller. Kicking things off with local news, the Dominica Bar Association held its customary panel discussion as part of Law Week 2025. Last evening at the UE Open Campus, the discussion held under the theme, "The Riot Act is Necessary in a Democratic Society." The distinguished panelists were Attorney General Levi Peter, retired Justice Wynot Adrian Roberts, DPP Clement Joseph of Antigua, and Attorney Jeffrey Letang. It was discussed that there are key words of the Act that need definition in order to add more clarity to the Act. Here is Attorney Letang with his recommendations following last night's discussion.
Repeal and replace with modern legislation that clearly define what is a riot. What does it mean to be unlawfully assembled? And the threshold for intervention. The Act requires, when it's being repealed or replaced, AJ, I think, it should take that step. It requires independent and judicial review of the proclamation or dispersal orders. There should be mandates use of force guidelines with proportionality checks. Also, it's recommended that incorporates training in human rights and de-escalation techniques. And most importantly, please let that Riot Act complies with Dominica Constitution and international human rights obligation.
The president of the Bar Association had this to say.
The evening, the Dominica Bar Association held its public education event for our Law Week, which is a panel discussion on the topic, the Riot Act, is it necessary or not in a democratic society? The panel discussion, I would say, was very successful. We had quite a good turnout at the UWI Center, and even more listening on social media and on radio, on DBS Radio and on EmoNews. It was really, really interesting. The panelists put their best foot forward, and we heard the differing views. One, at least the Attorney General, indicating that he does not believe the Act is unconstitutional, although conceding that, yes, there is room for improvement in terms of the manner that the Act is written. And the other panelists suggesting that they do not believe the Act is constitutional, that it is unconstitutional. So I think the consensus really was in the room last night that, while there is a need for public order or to regulate public order, nobody's rights are more important than others. Nobody wants to infringe on others' rights. People must be free to protest, but at the same time, there must be safety and regulation of that. The consensus was that, of course, the Riot Act in its present form may not necessarily be fit for purpose in our modern society, and there's, of course, room for improvement.
China awards scholarships to Dominican students. The Embassy of the People's Republic of China held an official ceremony today, awarding scholarships to Dominican students to pursue higher education in China. The scholarships, part of the Chinese government scholarship program, cover full tuition, accommodation, medical insurance, and living expenses. Recipients will study diverse fields in such as engineering, medicine, and international relations at leading Chinese universities. Let's take a look at regional news right now. Caribbean melting pot ignites Antigua Carnival. The Caribbean melting pot took place on Thursday, July 31st at Carnival City as part of the Antigua Carnival celebrations. Known for its high-energy vibes, the event featured top soca acts including Machel Montano, Triple K Global, Tian Winters, and more. Machel wowed the crowd and later shared his thoughts on how events like this foster Caribbean unity. After lighting up the stage, Machel was asked, with your experience across the Caribbean, how do you see events like Melting Pot contributing to regional cultural unity? Let's take a listen.
Just by the name alone, Melting Pot. If you look tonight, there are so many different islands represented with flags. I think it's not just the shows, but it's the fact that there are lots of people from many different islands. So having a show called the Melting Pot is significant just by the name, because we want everybody to come out and we want them to, and not only different islands but different ages. All in the stand, people sitting down and watching down on the ground, youths, you know. These are the kind of shows where you have artists from the region, local, alongside artists like Marshall, and experienced people like Flames will come out. Young people feel very honored to be on the same stage, and they will remember, they will get to perform to a bigger audience. It will give them something to aspire to. So I, big up the promoters for putting on this Melting Pot event and for inviting me.
Dominica's very own Triple K also had a stand-up performance, proudly repping the Nature Isle. Let's have a view.
Fly. Every water fly. Put your bottles up. Put your bottles up. Put your bottles up. Put your bottles up. We're going to wet up the place. We're going to wet up the place. Everybody on your ways. One. Now we wet them up. Two. Now we wet them up. One. Two. Everybody knows. We wet them.
And moving on to Trinidad, Gates Praise Music presented Grammy Award-winning and Billboard's Top Gospel Artist of 2024, CeCe Winans, with her More Than This tour, took place last evening. Other featured artists were Jaron Nurse and Samuel Medas. Let's check it out. Stay tuned for the sports segment after this short message.
It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can't tell you what the song get to. Say it's your thing. Do what you wanna do. Say I can't tell you what the song get to. You want
And in sports news, Dominica defeats St. Lucia in a thriller. Dominica edged past St. Lucia by 69 runs in a high-scoring clash, thanks to a match-winning knock from Gian Benjamin and late fireworks from Gian Tyson. St. Lucia started strong but faltered after early wickets. Gatson and Chico fought back, but Dominica's bowlers, Tavernier taking 3 wickets, Ansem and Joseph taking 2 wickets each to lock in the win. Both teams advanced to Saturday's final with 2 wins each. St. Vincent bows out after a heavy loss to Grenada. And in football news, Youth football action continues this weekend as Week 8 of the Dominica Football Association Boys Under 15 League heads to Almond Park with two exciting matchups on the schedule. At 11 a.m., the St. Paul Academy takes on Marigot United, and at 12:30, Dubla FC faces Harlem United SC. Fans are encouraged to come out and support the island's young football talents. Now let's take a look at the weather report from the Dominica Meteorological Service.
Friday, the 1st of August 2025. From our studios in Jamaica, I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander, as we take a look at our surface shot analysis with Dominica in the green circle. Of concern to us here is this tropical wave, which is expected to move across the area during the weekend. And taking a look at the satellite here, we can see some of the convection associated with that tropical wave here as it continues to progress towards the west. As you can see, some significant convection can be observed mainly to the northeast of Dominica as it progresses, expected to pass to the north of Dominica. However, when we look at the moisture, here we can see a huge area of moisture expected to progress through the area during the weekend, increasing the chances of showers and possible thunderstorms across Dominica. So we're advising people in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks to be on alert and to exercise caution during the weekend during the passage of that tropical wave. As you can see here, we have an area of increased moisture expected to pass mainly to the north of Dominica. However, we are mindful of this area of moisture expected to progress through the region during the coming days. Now, taking a look at the Saharan dust, here we can see an increase in Saharan dust across the region here. However, here, this represents the moisture associated with that tropical wave. However, following the passage of that tropical wave, by around Sunday afternoon, we expect to see again an increase in Saharan dust concentration. Again, we're advising people with respiratory sensitivities to be on alert and exercise caution to avoid complications. Now, taking a look at earlier satellite imagery, here we can see the movement of clouds in association with that tropical wave. This area here is that area of moisture. However, we can see some thunderstorm cells here and also here as they continue to progress westwards across the area. Now, closer to home, Dominica did experience partly cloudy skies during the last few hours. And taking a look at radar imagery and what it indicated, some scattered showers, mainly light showers, which moved across Dominica during today. Some scattered showers observed across most of the region, with most of the significant showers observed across the south and also across the northeast. Now, tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy, too cloudy, with a few scattered showers and also slightly hazy conditions as well. And temperatures expected to be down to 23 degrees Celsius on the coast, on the west coast that is, 22 degrees Celsius in the interior, and 24 degrees Celsius on the eastern coast. And tomorrow's weather is expected to be mostly cloudy, could be overcast at times, with light to moderate scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorm. And this is due to the passage of that tropical wave. Temperatures expected to be up to 30 degrees Celsius on the coast and 29 degrees Celsius in the interior. Again, we're advising people in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks to be on alert and to exercise caution. Sea condition expected to be slight to moderate tomorrow, with waves peaking up to 5 feet. Not much of concern for sea conditions tomorrow. High tide tomorrow will be at 11:43 a.m. and 10:43 p.m. and low tide will be at 5:45 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. Again, tomorrow Saturday we had yellow vigilance, and also on Sunday morning we will be on yellow vigilance as well, as we expect to see an increased chance for cloudiness, scattered showers, and possible isolated thunderstorms, increasing the risk of flooding during Saturday and into Sunday morning. However, by Sunday afternoon, we expect to see a relatively dry atmosphere taking effect. Wind speed is expected to go from 30 to 35 kilometers per hour throughout the 3-day period, with seas remaining at 5 feet throughout the 3-day period as well. Our concern, therefore, is the increased probability for showers and possible thunderstorms on Saturday and into Sunday morning. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:48 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:35 p.m. Again, stay informed, stay safe. Scan our QR code here to follow us on our WhatsApp channel, and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram by searching Dominica Met, and also visit our website at www.weather.gov.dm for up-to-date weather information. Thank you for joining me. Have a good weekend. Stay safe and exercise caution.
And that's a wrap for this evening's news. Thank you for joining us. I am your presenter, Rick Francis. This has been EmoNews, every moment online. Have a good weekend.